our friend JJ. I want to tell you something funny. You're gonna laugh your ass off.
Uh-oh.
Okay, remember? Okay, Mister, you know how.
Before you start, is my picture clear?
Yes, it's much better.
Cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Go ahead.
it's much better. So I was on the Roberts Forum, as I am, and you know how much Mr. Hahnemann loves me, and
Oh boy.
how he didn't do anything. Though I think he's the one emailing me about the credentialing exam because I just got a real snotty email, but saying if you would read that thing we sent you, I'm like, ooh.
Tell them bloviation is a decorum violation.
So I'm on the Roberts Forum, and I'm speaking with several of the members, and all of a sudden, one of the members says to me, "Your mama," and then it took me a minute. And I'm like, oh my God, it's that guy who watches our show because he hears me keep saying that Mr. Hahnemann should just say your mama and be over with it. And he said he had been waiting forever to say that. And D. Frank Robinson has joined us, so the original OG libertarian is in the house, so we don't need to wait for nobody else.
Greetings, D. Frank. Glad to have you here.
So what I think we'll do for our intro first, again, since we don't have like one day, I couldn't prepare the normal intro card, but I think I've got the video of Bad September, and maybe we could just play them. Why not? Let me see if I can get...
It's on YouTube somewhere.
Yeah, I think I have it, though, right here, though, is what I'm saying. Let me pull up a share screen, and let's see. Oh, I don't want that, though. We don't want our frames, so let me take off the frames. There we go. And we probably want this full screen, because you don't want to... Mm-hmm. That didn't work, did it? Oh, there we go. Okay, so... we will do a little bit, at least, of our theme music. I hope they don't copyright strike us since they give you permission.
So in any society, even a revolutionary society, it's necessary to have some semblance of order. There's things that you need to do in order to make sure that everything runs smoothly. Looked on the gathered crowd, and now 3,000 strong. With heavy heart, his voice rang loud as he sang this loveless song. God is our guide from field, from wave, from plough, from anvil, and from loom. We come our country's rights to save and speak of tyrant actions do. We raise the watch for liberty. We will be free! Oh, when the rising tide has turned in every London quarter, Parliament comes crashing down with Robert's Rules of Order! Took an oath to be our nation's rulers, swearing that they would enforce Sir Robert's Rules of Order. Till Newport rose a million friends who rallied each supporter to join this club of working men against Robert's Rules of Order. Oh, when the rising tide has turned in every London quarter,
Okay, let me go back
Richard
to.
Brown has now joined us.
Oh yes. Oh, and what happened to our screens? Now let me just I'm a what you call it, amateur operator here. So let me pull back up
Well,
Ecamm. Here we go, and watch
well,
magic. Yes, and Richard Brown is here. So yes, Bad September. That was live, but the recorded version is much clearer, and they had kindly given us permission to use that as as our theme song, and they were very happy for that. So if you enjoy their song, go buy it. The link's in the Cult of RONR show notes because they could deserve the support. They're a funny bunch of guys. All
and the
right.
YouTube censors can go ingest a sack of phalluses.
You know, I'm going to end up replaying that and we're going to dissect it. I watched it again, and the only, for everyone who's listening, YouTube took down one of the Cult of RONR's video. And they said it was because against the community guidelines. Of course, they don't tell you what community guidelines it is, but it was the one that had the title Illegal Ballots. And obviously what they did is they took it down because they thought it was something with some conspiracy theory about how Trump really won the election. And they don't allow that on YouTube because our YouTube overlords decides, what you can hear. But it wasn't about the US election at all. It was about tellers reports and shit for Roberts. So I challenged it.
Which means they didn't do anything to actually watch the video, know what's going on.
Right.
And besides, they should understand what illegal means. It's a sick bird.
It's so yeah, you just warped my mind with that. So I challenged it because I know the first strikes are usually from a bot. So I challenged it. And I got an immediate email, let's say within 5 minutes, and the video itself was 8 minutes long, so I knew nobody looked at it because they didn't even have enough time to look at it, that said, after careful review. Careful review my libertarian ass, say nobody reviewed it. So I think I'm going to play it again, not necessarily on the Cult station. I think I'm going to do it on Pink Flame of Liberty as a commentary on YouTube's sucky-ass censorship. There were only 2 things in there that even mentioned the U.S. elections, and it was 2 jokes about dead people voting Democrat, and
wait a minute, that's a joke?
But it was like in passing, that isn't why it got struck. Like, and if you can't joke about dead people voting Democrat, come on. Like, what kind of country is this? So yeah, that was ridiculous. And
maybe the YouTube bots got pissed because they thought you were referring to them.
God, it was crazy. So also, for those watching this that might be on the Pink Flame of Liberty channel, because I was on Dave Smith on Friday. I don't know if you know that. So I got a bunch of new subscribers, and they might be going, what the hell is this? This isn't what I signed up for. This is from me and Mike's other channel, which is Cult of RONR. And we're going through learning Robert's Rules of Order, because any of you who are libertarians, you already know why. But if you're not yet in the Libertarian Party, the Libertarian Party is absolutely obsessed with Roberts. So yeah, so we kind of have a little fun with it and do daily devotions in Roberts. But I have a cold, so Mike couldn't come over this week to do our day by day. So we decided we're going to do another week-long live. Okay? So who's first? You? Do you have the first?
Actually, yes, I do.
Yeah, okay. So I didn't know where we were. So we're actually going ahead a time. We're going to do a week ahead because we already did up through the 28th. So you're doing March 1st.
Right. Now the way these were sent over to me is that they're in 2 pieces. The first piece is the first half, the front side of the calendar page, and the second half is the back side where the answer is. So it's going to be a little bit of flip-flopping on some things here as I go. So that may slow it up a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I told Wayne to write the date or the whatever on the back.
He did.
Okay.
He did. And then he sent them in pairs too, which makes life really easy.
Okay, perfect.
Okie dokie. So March the 1st, and for everybody who's watching, these are taken from the 2019 calendar.
Yeah, because losers didn't put out in 2021.
Right. We went through 2020 already. So, okay. Are you ready?
As ready as I'm going to be. You better have a pen to mark our wins and losses.
In that case, I need to get a piece of paper to write them down on. Give me a second.
I write them on the calendar itself, but
I can't do that too well. I can't do that at all because I don't have I have the virtual calendar here. Give me one moment, and I shall mark this up We're getting ready to mark this up. Give me a pen.
All righty.
All righty. And let's see. Okay. And the third column is shitty. Why? Because, well, I expect a few of those.
Definitely.
Okay. Ready, steady, March the 1st, whatever the hell year it was. Okay. Oh, one of our wonderful questions about referring to the committee again.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Keep in mind, the last session, we seem to have a ton of questions about, what was it?
Oh, crap.
Well, that too, but that's not what I meant.
Oh, wait. I have them here.
I was reconsider.
Yeah, reconsider. Yeah. Oh my God, it was all over the place.
I know. It was like, wait a minute. Did we just have this question like three times already? Okay. This is referring to committee. We had a few of those last time too. We'll see how this works out. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. If after a question has been referred to a committee, but before the committee submits its report, what may the assembly do if it wishes to provide the committee with further directions? A, call the committee chair and urge that the chair to consider the additional instructions. Excuse me. B, call the committee members and talk to them. C, take no action because the question is already in the hands of the committee. D, take action by majority vote to give the committee additional instructions.
D.
Well, yeah, it's D.
Okay.
The rest of them are.
I was getting confused. So I knew it wasn't calling people. What are you going to do, a bulk call? Or, hey, it's the assembly.
We're going to do a
it's
Zoom
all of us.
meeting. We're gonna do a Zoom meeting.
Okay,
Everybody wear masks.
All right, I thought it was like too easy. I'm like, no, there's got to be a trick in here somewhere, and you're going to tell me I got it wrong.
This was easy.
Okay.
Okay.
And Gene
I need to bring up my
Yeah.
Bring my bling factor.
You got to bring the
you know
bling.
me. I don't do Gene. Gene, you know me for how long? I don't wear bling.
Alrighty, so now it is up
you and I go back at least 15 years, dude. I mean, you know me, I don't wear bling. Okay. The citation for this whole thing is 177:13-17, also known as Chapter 6, Section 13.
So squiggly 13.
Correct.
Okay.
And I cheated because I was reading ahead before we were getting started, and we weren't at the page. So.
Okay, yeah, you go ahead while I'm trying to find it in the new version.
It's under commit to or refer.
Yeah.
Section called subsequent instructions.
Subsequent?
Which is right above vacancies in a committee.
I see it. So it is 1322 in the 12th.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Here is the citation. Folks, what we're doing here is that Karen Ann has the 12th edition. I have the 11th, which is what these refer to. Okay. Subsequent instructions. After a question has been referred to a committee and at any time before the committee submits its report, even at another session, the assembly by a majority vote can give the committee additional instructions in reference to the referred question.
Does yours say C also?
It does not.
Oh, mine has a C also. 13.8, number D, which sounds like it's the standard descriptive, but let's go. No, further rules.
Boom.
Yeah, it's under further rules. All it is talking about how instructions can be included.
Yeah, I see that here. Yeah. In the 11th, it's not A through D, it's just bullet points.
Oh, check this out, though. Here's something interesting. I don't know if this is in yours, but it says the motion to commit requires a majority vote for its adoption, even when it contains instructions that would suspend, modify, or conflict with rules of order that would otherwise apply to meetings of the committee.
Okay, where are you seeing that?
That's in frequent further rules and explanations, bullet point D. You might not have that because I don't recall ever saying that.
No, it doesn't. In my mentions about instructions can be included.
What does it
whether
end
the committee
with?
The committee can be given full power to act for the society in a specific case. It can be authorized to spend money or even to add to its own membership.
Yeah, this is an additional sentence that's in the 12th. And that is really interesting. I suppose there probably was questions on that. So I guess if it contained constructions that, for instance, allow the committee to call the question or something, gives them additional rules of order.
Okay, what was that last sentence you said is in there? Can you read it off?
Sure. The motion to commit requires a majority vote for its adoption, even when it contains instructions that suspend, modify, or conflict with rules of order that would otherwise apply to meetings of the committee. So, for instance,
That's weird.
Letting the committee know that they're allowed to use previous question, which you normally can't in a committee.
Right. That's interesting.
Yeah, that
You would think that would be in a 2/3 vote rather than a majority, just because you're suspending rules.
Yeah, well, I guess somebody had a question on it, so and this one it has another sentence as well, but it wasn't appropriate to us, but it says C, and it gives a citation regarding the adoption of instructions authorizing a committee to hold electronic meetings.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, not our thing. All right, so there we go. And D. Frank's in the 11th edition as well, he says. Oh, by the way, we have a special project for when you're here in person. In going through the party records, I found some old files from a judicial committee issue. I haven't found the decision yet, but I found one of the briefs. So apparently when Alicia Clark was chair, she unilaterally fired the national director, who was Eric O'Keefe. And Eric O'Keefe appealed to the Judicial Committee. I have a copy of the brief in support of him being reinstated. And it makes citations to the 7th edition, I think, of Roberts. So I ordered that because I want to see if their citations is right. But it seems to me like it's a really shitty brief. But I'd like us to go through it to see what you think the problems with it are.
That could be interesting.
Yeah, but I want to have the right page numbers they're referring to, and it was the 7th, because it was 1980, I think.
80, 81, I guess, somewhere in there. That's way before my time.
Yeah, and I think it was the 7th. Hold on the front of the book here, it says what versions were for what.
81, I was in the 3rd grade.
It was 80. Which is right before the 8th edition came out. So it's 7th, and that is the first edition that was called Robert's Rules of Order Newly Revised.
So where the hell did you find that online?
I know I found it in the archive, in the storage.
No, I mean the 7th edition.
Oh, I found it on Abe Books. It was hard.
Okay.
It was hard. I couldn't find it, and then I finally found it. And interesting, the 4th, 5th, and 6th were Robert's Rules of Order Revised, not Newly Revised. Right. And then...
Yeah, that's actually mentioned in the I think in the foreword or introduction of the 11th.
So what are they going to do next, though? Newly revised? Extra awesome sauce revised?
Revised. Revised. Hahnemann.
Okay, are you ready, Mr. Seebeck, to go to the 2nd?
Oh, I am. My foot's falling asleep, but that's just life.
But so if I have the 7th edition in hand yet, maybe we'll do that next week. But we want the 7th.
Okay, edition. Is it written in hieroglyphics or on a stone tablet?
I think it was on the Rosetta Stone. So.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll have to brush up on my Aztec then.
Yes. Are you ready?
Well, as ready as I'll ever be.
Okay. Here we go. A main motion with an adopted amendment that added words is referred to a quasi-committee of the whole. The quasi-committee of the whole wants to remove the words. The quasi-committee of the whole may report the main motion with A, an amendment to strike out the words, B, an amendment to reconsider the vote on the motion to strike out the words, C, a substitute, D, both A and C are correct.
Okay, so let's refresh that. The motion has been made, an amendment's been added, it goes to the quasi-committee of the whole.
And the motion was adopted.
The main motion was adopted, or the amendment?
No, a main motion with an adopted amendment. So the amendment was adopted.
Okay.
The main
But
motion is still pending.
that's what I thought. Okay, yeah. And then that gets referred to a quasi committee of the whole,
Yes.
and they're suggesting that they need to get rid of the added words that the amendment provided.
Yes.
Okay, so the question is, how do they report it out?
Yes.
And the first option was, read me the options now.
An amendment to strike out the words.
Possibly. Next.
An amendment to reconsider the vote on the motion to strike out the words.
That's not the case because that hasn't happened yet. C, or yes, let's see.
C, a substitute. And D
Okay, and
is both A and C are correct.
well, I know A is correct. So that's definitely one of the possibilities. I suppose they could offer a substitute, but I'm not sure what that would gain them. So it's either A or it's D, and I'm not sure which. So I'm gonna go for the gusto and say D.
It is D.
Okay.
But here's my question, and I wanted, before we look it up, I would have thought A was wrong because the words just got added in. You can't turn around and strike out words you just added in the same session, can you?
Theoretically, you can, but it's not exactly the best form.
Isn't that considered like a settled question? The only way you could remove them is to reconsider the question to add them. You can't just turn around and strike them. That's settled.
The thing about a quasi committee of the whole is that, you know, when you're engaging in informal discussion on this, it's almost the same as if you're having an unlimited debate on the question itself.
Yeah.
And so as a result, you may want to be able to, you know, when you go through it. I actually saw this in LA once. I think it was the LA convention in 2004. Gene, I think, was there too, where there was a question, or maybe 2005, I forget, one of the two, but it was a question before the body, and it, JJ's here.
Hey, JJ, I was telling you your mama story.
And there was a question on the floor, and I was actually in favor, but then as the arguments went along, I changed my mind. And there wasn't a motion to reconsider. It didn't really go into a formal discussion, but I remember the fact that it did change my mind when I got better information. I voted against the whole thing instead of in favor of it. So it's very possible that they're using the quasi committee here as a way of opening up debate without limiting it. Gene says 2004. That's what I thought. That was the Povertarian Convention. Long story, but I'm thinking they're using the quasi there just as a way to open up debate without limiting it. That may be what they're trying to accomplish here. I personally would not run it that way. I'd rather just have it debated before it's passing. However, Richard Brown just commented in, there's a difference when it comes from a committee.
Okay, but I guess everyone is seeing, though, my point. Ordinarily, you couldn't do that. Like the assembly couldn't do that. So the citation.
Yeah, what's our citation?
It is pages, so 176, 27 through 31. It's also chapter 13.
Yep, same neighborhood. Oh, that's just before what we just had.
It is. Let me see.
Yeah, you said it was 26 to 34.
27 through 31.
Right, that's the section titled "Freedom of Action After Referrals." 2 sections above what we just had for the previous one and subsequent instructions. So she'll be able to find that real fast.
Okay, I have it, so I'll read this. Since the purpose of referring a motion to a committee is generally to allow for a more thorough consideration of the matter, greater freedom of action is obtained once the committee commences its deliberations. There is a footnote there that I'm going to go back to.
Okay, that is totally rewritten from what's in the 11th.
Ah, okay. As follows. The usual prohibition against introducing a motion to amend that raises the same question, that's what I was saying, of content and effect as one already decided by the assembly at the same session no longer applies. Okay, that answered my question. I did not know that. Therefore, a committee to which a resolution or other motion has been referred is free to consider and recommend for adoption its own amendments to the referred motion. without regard to whether or not the assembly, by either adopting or rejecting the same or related amendments or motions prior to the referral, had effectively voted against making such changes or taking such action. Interesting. There's more, but that's all that's really relevant to here. But that footnote where it said there's a greater freedom of action once the committee commences its deliberations, the footnote says, such freedom of action as provided in this paragraph is not obtained, however, by an informal consideration.
Yeah, that they've reworded all of that, because this is what it says in the 11th. When the committee reports, even if to the same meeting that it made the referral, the matter stands before the assembly as if introduced for the first time, and the assembly itself, therefore, is also free to consider any such amendments, whether considered by the committee or not. Then there's an asterisk. The provisions of this paragraph do not apply, however, with respect to informal consideration. See page 168 and 540. Yeah. 168, just to back reference it, since I can, talks about consider informally.
Yeah, it's
540, 541. What do they say over there? Let's go look real quick. That's way back in the back. That's under committee of the whole, I'm betting.
Yeah, probably. But that is interesting. I never knew that. But you can see why I got looped a little there, because you can't just turn around and they tried to confuse you in this question with B, where they said an amendment to reconsider the vote on the motion to strike out. It wasn't a motion to strike out. It was a motion to add. If
that's why I said.
Yeah.
That's why I said that didn't make any sense, because it hadn't happened yet.
And it wouldn't be an amendment to reconsider. It'd be a motion to reconsider. Reconsideration isn't an amendment. So that was
D. Frank has a comment.
Oh, I think he was just letting people know what Robert's Rules of Order were there.
Yeah, 1970, 7th edition, yeah. So, okay, well, that one was better than I thought.
Okay, so you got that one. All righty. Boop, 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 boop.
Let's go on to March the 3rd. Now, that's a Sunday.
Oh, okay, so then you get two in a row.
Mm-hmm.
All righty. March the 4th, a day that will live in infamy. Because it's my wedding anniversary for my ex.
It's my late grandmother's birthday, so.
Yeah, but I was married for over 20 years. A lot of people don't know I was married in my first marriage for over 20 years, so I'll never forget the date. And yeah, I can say I'm
so
much
you were married
happier.
You're married and inaugurated on the same day.
Yeah, much happier now. Though I do have fond memories as well. He wasn't all bad. Nobody is. All right, you ready, Mr. Seebeck?
Yep.
Okay. The standard descriptive characteristics of postpone definitely include which of the following? A, it is debatable, including going into the merits of the question. B, it is amendable only as to the time to postpone the main question. C, it always requires a majority vote for adoption. D, none of the above are correct.
Okay, give me the choices again.
A, it is debatable, including going into the merits of the question. B, it is amendable only as to the time to postpone the main question. C, it always requires a majority vote for adoption. D, none of the above are correct.
And this is which one is correct?
Include which of the following?
Okay, D is not the right answer, and I'll tell you why. Because one of these has got to be right. Because debate was about what?
What?
The debatable option was about what again?
Including going into the merits of the question.
No, that is not true, because you can only debate about the time itself. So that's not. So A is not it. D is not it. What's B?
It is amendable only as to the time to postpone the main question.
That is true. What's C?
It always requires a majority vote for adoption.
Not always true. B's the answer.
Okay. I would have agreed with you, but it says D.
What?
I know. Let's look this up. Because
because
I was like, I think you can amend the time. I'm wondering if it was just worded tricky. So here's the pages. For you, oh, it goes to the tinted pages too. Woohoo! So first reference, so 182, 16 through 29. And it's section
Okay.
14.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I've got that up.
So it should be in standard descriptive because that's what it was
Yep.
talking about.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so let's look here. Let's continue. Is that out of order? Is debatable. Oh, but you can't go into the merits. Okay, so that's why A
Right.
is wrong. Okay.
That's why, right, I said that.
Okay. Is amendable.
That's number 5. Number 6. Yeah.
Right. Is amendable as to the time to which the main question is to be postponed.
Right. Which is what B is, right?
Yes. This is wrong. Okay, Richard Brown, you say it's a trick question. How is it trick? Because it seems to me that B is correct.
Yeah, ditto here.
Okay, let me see if I can get this.
What's C? What's C? Right there, hold steady. Bring it back, right, stop. Always requires a majority for adoption. 7 says requires a majority vote in the simple and usual form. If it makes a question of a special order, it needs 2/3. So that's why C is not correct, because
Right.
C says always a majority. So we know C is not right.
But
We
why
know
is
that A
B?
is not right. Only as to the time to postpone the question. Standard characteristic 6 says, and I quote, is amendable as to the time to which the main question is to be postponed. And here it is. Okay.
It's the
I didn't read
only.
through all the way. No. Here's what the full thing says. Here's
Okay.
the trick. I just found it. Is amendable as to the time to which the main question is to be postponed, and as to making the postponed question a special order.
So it's the
That's
only that is the
characteristic. Right.
Tricky. Oh, man.
Way to dig for that one.
Wow. I mean, that I can't call that a shitty question. I call that a clever question, man.
That's
Woo!
not a shitty question. That was a tricky one. Richard
Wow.
Brown's right. Pay attention to the amendable only. Yeah, that's exactly what I didn't do.
Let's look also though at the tinted pages. It says for you tinted pages 63, 62 and 63.
All right. Let's see what I can find on that. Tinted pages don't go to 62 or 63.
They don't? It's number 62. Never mind. It's the line numbers.
Okay.
Number 62. Yeah.
That I understand. Okay, here we go. 62. Postponed to a certain time or definitely applied to a pending question. Bullets. I move to postpone the question to the next meeting. That's excuse me, belching a root beer here. That's sample forms used.
No, I'm looking here at like these pages that look like this.
Oh,
chart.
I'm looking back at
It's the charts.
Okay. Hang on.
Yeah.
Let's go look on the tables. Okay, I was looking at the forms, the table of rules.
Yeah, table of rules. That's what it.
I was in the wrong place.
So amendable, yes, which says.
Mm-hmm.
This doesn't really help because it doesn't really say on what it's amendable.
Debatable, footnote 4. Debate on motion must be confined to its merits only and cannot go into the main question except as necessary for the debate of the immediately pending question. Amendable, yes. Majority, unless it makes this question a special order. Can be reconsidered, footnote 5. A negative vote on this motion can be reconsidered only until such time as progress in business or debate is made essentially a new question. Must be seconded in order unless the floor no, and subsidiary motion.
Okay. All right. Well, that was tricky.
Yes, it was.
And do you want to know what I want to look at? It's interesting. For your book, it was number 62 and 63, and here it was 67 and 68. So I want to know what they added to that chart, because they obviously added 5 things.
You have to cross-reference that one.
Yeah, because I mean, motions kind of stay the same. I wonder what they added. Okay. All right. Well, that one, that got you, but I wouldn't have gotten that right either.
That one was tricky.
I mean, Richard Brown said this, and I just learned this the other day too. They're called tinted pages because in the 7th edition, which is the first newly revised, they really were beige. But from what I understand, am I correct, Richard, that in even the older editions, they were like in the middle of the book and printed on heavier paper? Like, how sometimes like in encyclopedias and stuff, there's those weird pages in the middle. I read that
Like
somewhere.
a photo insert.
I think it was on Jurassic Parliamentarian, that blog. They talked about the earlier ones being on this fancy pants paper or something.
How could a dinosaur hold a gavel?
I like our name better. So, you're no, wait, me? I'm confused.
No, my turn. It's a 5th now.
Right, to say to me. Right, got it.
Right,
I'm
yeah.
old. You know that. I'm old.
Okay. Oh, more of this.
What, reconsider?
No,
Committee?
postponing to a certain postponing definitely.
Okay.
Okay. Let me pop this up so I can read it. Postpone to a certain time is a motion by which action on a pending question can be put off within limits to which of the following. You better get this one right. This is pretty easy.
Oh God. Oh God.
A, to a definite meeting. B, to a definite day. C, to a definite hour after a certain event. Or D, all of the above.
All of the above.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Well, you should get this one.
I thought it was going to be trickier than that. I thought it was going to get into the whole quarterly time period and be all like weird. Yeah. Okay.
Jacobs clarifies, yes, that the 7th edition, the tinted pages were in the center of the book.
Okay, and I've got another question for you. I just can't. Okay, we have an LNC meeting next Sunday.
Sunday. Right.
So the chair gave notice of a motion to amend the policy manual to say that any motion to amend the budget has to have to raise the. Basically, you have to have a balanced budget. So if you're moving to add money, you better be finding it somewhere. You either better be taking it from another section or whatever. And so any motions that do not have a corresponding balance are ruled out of order, and it can be overridden by a 2/3 vote of the entire LNC. Now, I'm totally in favor.
Okay, so you have to. You have to rob Peter to pay Paul, right?
Well, usually there's a category. The way they usually happen is we ended up not spending so much in, say, ballot access, so we can move that money to candidate support or something.
Right.
But here's the thing. So I'm absolutely in favor of a balanced budget, and I think our policy manual should say that. But I told him I objected to having it overridden by a 2/3 vote of the entire LNC. What I objected to was the entire 2/3 vote. I thought was fine, but I think votes that require the entire LNC should be reserved for like the most serious things, like suspending an officer, disaffiliating an affiliate or whatever. Plus, it's the policy manual. With notice, we can amend it out of existence with a 50% vote, and. Right. Without notice, we could amend it with a majority of the entire LNC, which is a less threshold than 2/3 of the entire LNC. So I said it makes no parliamentary sense, Joe, to put that in there that way. It should just be a straight 2/3 vote. Mm-hmm. And I'm wondering what he hasn't answered me yet. He probably won't answer me on the list. If he agrees, he'll just amend his motion, but he asked for feedback, and that was my feedback, because this isn't the bylaws,
No, it's not.
I would be thrilled to have balanced budget required in the bylaws, but this is a policy manual, which is, it's only as good as a majority want it to be, because all it takes is a majority to,
Gee, should we have a balanced budget in the state bylaws?
We do have a. Well, we don't.
No, we don't.
No, but we don't do a budget. Our state.
I know.
It's been ridiculous. We We did when Jeff Orrick was chair, and we did with
Right.
Jay North. I think Jay North was the last one. We haven't done a budget. It's crazy, but no, I'm not talking about LPCO. That's harsh in my mellow, dude.
Yeah, something to think about. But anyway,
So
not here.
you understand like what I'm saying like on that? Does that make
Yeah.
sense? So
Yeah, it sounds to me like the proposed vote threshold is what a whack there.
yeah, I think so. I mean, listen, if my amendment doesn't pass, I'll vote for it in either event because I'm not going to ever be on record as voting against balanced. But
Right.
I just think it's parliamentary wise, it's kind of ridiculous that threshold. But
Sure. Okay, back to this thing. You had the answer correct.
okay, yeah.
So the
Sorry.
yeah, the citation is 179, 31 to 34, which is the very beginning of section 14.
Okay.
And I say very big, I'm looking at the very first sentence.
Oh, I went too far. 14. So you read that, right? Yes.
Yeah. The subsidiary motion to postpone to a certain time or postpone definitely or postpone is the motion by which action on a pending question can be put off within limits to a definite day, meeting, or hour, or until after a certain event. There it is. All the above in one sentence.
Does yours have that parenthetical after that?
The expression to
Yeah.
defer, etc.,
Yeah.
it should be avoided since it is often, flip the page, subject to vague usage.
Yeah. Okay. That was good. And oh, an update on my exam. So, because I told you I got a snarky letter that I swear Mr. Hahnemann must have wrote it. So I'm on part 2, and I've done parts 1 and 2 of part 2, I guess you'd say, but which is basically you're acting. It's like a role play scenario, not really, but like they give you instructions that says you're the parliamentarian for blah 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 society, and they want you to write a proposed resolution that would do this. So they want to make sure you can write resolutions and stuff. And then the other one was you're the parliamentarian for whatever, and the chair submitted to you this question, and you have to do a short written answer. It was kind of fun, actually. Now, but the third one that I'm working on now is a client letter and a sample newsletter article. So that's where I'm at now. And then I have to wait for them to grade it, and apparently they're running really behind in grading. So who knows how long that will be before I can move on to the rest of part 2.
Hahnemann has the Rona. I don't know. Couple comments.
Okay. Oh. Let me see. You might want to look. What is? National Parliamentarian. Do you have that? Can you copy that and like shoot it over to me? I'd love to read that. So we'll see if he answers that. And Rhett had thanked us, and thank you for being here, Rhett. So
Thank you, Rhett.
We'll see if Jonathan has, because I'd love to read that, because it does, I think I could see where that might be going.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty.
6.
6, okay. I'm old, you got to keep getting me on track, or else before you know it, I'm wandering out in the road with diapers on. Okay. The subsidiary motion to limit or extend...
Wait a minute, wait. You don't wander out in the road with diapers on. That's Joe Biden.
Well, I'm getting up in age there, man. I'm going to be in the nursing home with good old Joe. He's going to be sniffing my
Weird.
hair.
Probably because he's wondering how you dyed it pink. But anyway.
Well, if JJ doesn't have it, Richard Brown does, so we'll be able to take a look at that suspension paradox. Okay, so are you ready now, Mr. Seebeck?
Yeah, I think so, but a paradox is 2 doctors.
A part of me dies every time you do that. Okay, the subsidiary motion to limit or extend limits of debate may be used to A. Limit debate to 3 minutes for each member in a committee and 3 more minutes after all committee members have spoken. B. Limit debate to 10 seconds per speaker, with each speaker... I know.
I'm
I know.
sorry. There are some people who take that long to clear their throat.
I know. I know. Oh boy. Um,
We know that's not the right answer. At least I
well,
hope not.
okay, so let me. Do you want me to start again because you've just been full of giggles?
Yeah,
We're going to
please.
start from the beginning, but JJ, my email for that would be secretary@lp.org. Alrighty. Okay, let's start again. The subsidiary motion to limit or extend limits of debate may be
Okay.
used to A. Limit debate to 3 minutes for each member in a committee and 3 more minutes after all committee members have spoken. B. Limit debate to 10 seconds per speaker, with each speaker entitled to speak 3 times on each pending question. C. Impose an immediate closing of debate. D. Both A and B are correct.
Well, we know. Okay, give me the beginning of the question, please. Again.
The subsidiary motion to limit or extend limits of debate may be used to,
Right.
and then A, B, C, D.
Okay, so this is not necessarily in a committee itself.
No, no.
Okay, so B just sounds absurd on the face of it. That could be taken up by a sneezing fit. So D wouldn't be right. What's C again?
Impose an immediate closing of debate.
In a reverse way, that is possible. What's A?
Limit debate to 3 minutes for each member in a committee and 3 more minutes after all other committee members have spoken.
A is possible, but it seems kind of odd. I'm not sure on this one. It's going to be either A or C. Because B is just ridiculous. I suppose technically you could limit to 10 seconds apiece, but that's just, that's ridiculous. I'm going to say A, but I don't know if that's right or not.
It is B.
What?
Yeah, I mean, you can do it. And the reason, just right off, and I only know this because of so many national committees I've been on. Reason it's not A is you can't limit debate in committees.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah, you just can't. So
Okay,
that's why A is wrong.
I should have freaking realized that. Duh.
And C, impose an immediate closing. That's previous question. That's not motion to limit or extend. So that kind of leaves B.
Technically, yeah, it could be on a motion to extend, because if you're motioning to extend, your time's up anyway, or at least close to it. And if the motion to extend fails, that kind of forces the vote.
No,
Does that make sense?
This isn't.
That's why I said in kind of a reverse way.
This isn't extension of time. This is modifying the rules of debate. It's not to move more time. Like if you move more time, your whatever your standing rules of the limits of debate, like each person can speak only once, so speak for 10 minutes or whatever it might be, are still in place. This is a motion to limit or extend limits of debate, meaning each person can speak for 20 minutes.
Okay.
Right. It's a different motion. So
got it. Okay, I misheard that then. Don't I botched all that up?
All right, so this is section 15, so page 191, 19 through 27.
Okay, that's right in the beginning of the whole section. Literally the second paragraph.
Yeah, it's modified debate. Oh, so you said the second paragraph? Oh, yeah. Right here. Okay, so the motion to limit, this is 15.2 in the new version. The motion to limit or extend limits of debate can limit debate by reducing the number or length of speeches permitted without including specific provision for closing debate, or 2, requiring that at a certain later hour or after debate for a specific length of time, debate shall be closed. It can extend limits of debate by allowing more and longer speeches than under the regular rules. It cannot impose an immediate closing of debate, which requires a different motion, the previous question. All right, that's...
Okay, wait a minute. So what's the difference between limit or extend limits of debate versus extending time, motion to extend time of debate?
Okay, time is will be. We're really used to that because we have time limits on a lot of our agenda items. That's not typical.
Hmm.
So it would be, so say you had 20 minutes put on the agenda for the motion to consider hanging, executing Mike Seebeck, and the 20 minutes are up, but there's still people who want to speak. Then you
Right.
move to extend time. You move to suspend the rules to extend time for 10 minutes, for
Okay.
15 minutes,
Okay.
whatever. That's the
Okay.
difference.
That's where I was getting mixed up. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
All righty. This isn't a good week for you, Mr. Seebeck. I
Now,
should shut up
oh,
because now I'm going to start fucking
ah,
up.
there it is. I was going to say, where in the hell's the seventh? But I was hiding in my messages here. Okay. The seventh is the next one.
Okay.
I can almost read this. Hang on, let me bring it up so I can actually see it. More referring to committees. Okay, that seems to be the theme this week.
Or this month.
Could be. Well, no, it was reconsidered before, so
Well, that was for February. Now we're on March, so.
true. Maybe they're referring March to a committee. I don't know. Maybe they can refer April to a committee in Shooter. I don't know. Anyway, when a motion proposes to assign a new task or to refer an original matter to a committee when no question is pending, what kind of motion is it? A, subsidiary motion to commit. B, incidental main motion. C, original main motion. Or D, all of the above.
It can't be all the above.
No kidding.
So, no. Say the question again.
Okay. When a motion proposes to assign a new task or to refer an original matter to a committee with no questions pending,
Mm-hmm.
what kind of motion is it? A, a subsidiary motion to commit. B, incidental main motion. C, original main motion. Or D, all the above, which we just
Shit,
threw
I
out.
never know these. I'm going to say C.
And you would be correct.
Okay.
Now, here's the obvious question. Why is it an original main motion?
Well, I knew it would be a main motion. I knew it wouldn't be a subsidiary motion. It'd be a subsidiary motion if it was when there was another motion pending. I just,
Right.
I didn't know if it would be incidental.
Or original.
Yeah, but I knew it would be one of those two. So, I get confused on those whole things.
Okay. The citation is section 13,
Okay.
which is committee refer, 168, 29 to 32, which is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, sixth paragraph down from the beginning. It's the one right above the standard descriptive characteristics.
Yes.
Okay. It says as follows. When a motion proposes to assign a task or refer a matter to a committee when no question is pending, such a motion is not the subsidiary motion to commit, and that takes out the A,
Right.
but is a main motion. So that puts us to B or C. It is an incidental main motion if the assignment or referral is pursuant to a subject on which the assembly has already taken some action, but it is an original main motion if the matter to be assigned or referred relates to a new subject.
So it can be any of them depending upon the circumstances.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Because if you go back up to the second paragraph in the section, the motion to commit has 3 variations whose object is not to turn the main question over to a smaller committee or smaller group, but to permit the assembly's full meeting body to consider it with the greater freedom of debate. That's committee of the whole, quasi-committee of the whole, or formal consideration. So,
All right.
anyway, so yeah, you said original, and you were correct, I believe.
I think so.
Yeah.
Was I? Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. I'm doing good this week. This is good because I
Yes,
sucked
you.
a lot in January.
Yes, you are. So
Oh.
that was a full week, unless you want to keep going.
Well, no, it wasn't because, oh, is it? Yeah, it was.
The next one to be the 8th, which would be
Oh,
the
right,
day
right.
after.
Yeah, no. So that's good. No, because I
Okay.
want to do as many in person. So if we can't meet
Sure.
in person, we'll do the rest like this. But
Yeah,
yeah.
because
So
Wayne's been over like 3 weeks worth of stuff almost.
well, that's good in case we end up having to do
Yeah.
online. I prefer in person though. It's better. But
Mhm.
though this week is your sound and video are much better.
Well, for starters, I'm wearing my headset to help improve the audio, and I'm glad it did in this. And I found a spare webcam hiding in a drawer, and I'm trying that out.
Yeah, much better. All
So,
right, everyone. We thank you for for joining us in our Roberts explorations. And I'm gonna order the calendar thing. You'll have to let me know, and I'm gonna fill it in to keep score because we're so competitive. At least I am. I'm terrible. I'm awful. But that will be it.
are you? Wait a minute. Are you marking the actual dates, or are you just keeping a tally?
I'm gonna put it on the dates.
Oh, because I wasn't marking them on the dates because I couldn't.
Oh, well, okay. Then we'll keep a tally. Then I'll
Yeah.
just use a whiteboard. That way I don't have to order something. That's good because I already got a whiteboard.
Yeah.
I think.
That's easier. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll have to put that up here, and it's
Hmm.
here in the basement somewhere. I know I have a whiteboard.
Yeah.
So
So the tally for today was you got 3, I got 1, and there were no shitty questions.
there was one really tricky one though. Woof.
Right, but we didn't have a tricky category, and that wasn't
Yeah,
shitty. It was
no,
just
but
tricky.
I'm impressed. Okay, everyone, we're going to be off, so let me sign off. Thank you for joining us, and we should be back on our daily ones. Otherwise, next Saturday, we will, be doing this again. Laters.
So long.